Ladies and gentlemen, today my group will give a presentation regarding with contemporary trends and patterns of crimes and victimization research, and our study is entitled Environmental Crimes and its Threat to Peace and Public Safety. The presenter are myself, Cielo Marris L.Yonson, Glydel Nicole D, and Reggie Mae S Ortiz. Environmental crimes is very rampant throughout the world, which harms not just the biodiversity and natural resources, yet also the peace and safety of the people. Our study is all about how environmental crimes identified here in Davao City impose a threat to peace and public safety to the residents living in Davao. According to Nairobi 2016, the money generated from environmental crimes fuels criminal groups which participates in transnational crime and which impose a threat to peace and public safety, most especially those people who belong in the vulnerable group of the community and also those people who belong in the poverty line of the country. According to the update given by the Interpol 2016, environmental crimes is fastly growing each year with an increased number of 7% annually, reaching a net income of $258 billion. According to Interpol UNEP 2016, in some countries, environmental crimes are in less priority of the government, resulting into a lack response of the government and its law enforcement sector, giving the criminals a low risk of being apprehended by the authorities. Therefore, the research aims to view the perception and satisfaction of the residents, the local government, and the law enforcement of Davao City towards the effectiveness of the existing environmental laws. Moreover, we have concluded 3 research questions, which are: what are the effects of environmental crimes and its threat to peace and public safety? Second, is there a significant relationship between environmental crimes and its threat to peace and public safety? And lastly, what implications may be drawn from the result of the study to reduce the threat of environmental crimes to peace and public safety? On the other hand, the null hypothesis will be tested at 0.05 level of significance, which states that there is no significant relationship between environmental crimes and its threat to peace and public safety as perceived by the residents of Davao City when respondents are classified based on their profile.
Theoretical framework. This study was anchored by Clark 1980, the Situational Crime Prevention Theory, or also known as ECPT, wherein this theory focuses on the settings of the criminal acts rather than on the characteristics of the criminals. Clark's theory of situational crime prevention posits that more opportunities tend to more crime, and easier opportunities generate more criminals. This theory was also supported by 8 2019. He asserted that offenders take action whether or not to commit violent crimes depending on their impressions of viable options. As a result, environmental factors can embolden criminal behavior, and mitigating these factors can subsidize in preventing crime. Situational crime prevention centers on very particular forms of crime or disorder, paying special attention to crime outbreaks. Conceptual framework. The independent variable of this study is the environmental crimes, which includes illegal trade in waste and pollution, illegal unregulated and unreported fishing, and illegal logging and associated trade in stolen timber, in which it will determine the impact towards the dependent variable of our study, which is the peace and public safety. Significance of the study. This study is beneficial especially to the criminology students of the University of Mindanao, for them to have a deeper view of environmental crimes that impose a threat to peace and public safety, making them place sufficient priority on these environmental crimes as they will serve the public as an implementer of peace and public safety. This study is also beneficial to the law enforcement sector, for them to place sufficient priority and attention to the environmental crimes by implementing plans and programs that will prevent further damage to the environment, together with maintaining peace and public safety in the community. This study will also help our government upon revising and improving existing laws that protect the environment and implement new laws that will provide strict requirements for any private or public individual who will attempt to improve or alter the natural resources in the environment. And lastly, this study may help the future researchers in studying the existing laws that protect the environment and know the efficacy of these laws upon protecting the environment and preventing threats of peace and order. This study may be a second-hand source of information with their future research, for this provides information regarding the existing crimes of the environment and how this affects to peace and public safety. Chapter 2: Research Design. This study employs the descriptive research design. As highlighted by Slamia 2016, descriptive research refers to studies that explain phenomena as they occur. It is used to distinguish and acquire data from a representative sample of perceived issues such as community, group, or people. As a result, the researchers use this design because it provides us a profile to characterize, determine, and acquire the impact of environmental crime and its threat to peace and public safety.
Research subject. The subject of this study is composed of 250 individuals. 100 individuals from the Philippine National Police, 50 individuals from the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, and 100 individuals residing in Davao City. They were the chosen respondents because they provide relevant information that would greatly help to work out this study. In addition, the researcher used the simple random sampling method to distribute and disseminate the questionnaire among the aforesaid respondents within a specified time frame from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. According to Thomas 2020, a simple random sample is a technique wherein a researcher randomly selected a subset of a population. In this sample method, each member of the population has an exactly equal chance of being selected. Again, the respondents of the study are residing in Region 11, particularly in Davao City, Davao del Sur, Philippines. Research instrument. The major tool in gathering the data is a survey questionnaire designed by the researcher in order to gather relevant information. According to Question Pro 2016, a survey is a research method used for collecting data from a predetermined group of respondents to gain information and insight on the said study. The draft of the questionnaire was drawn out based on the researcher's readings, previous studies, to name a few. Also, the draft will be submitted to the research advisor in person of Dr. Nabe for validation to extract a more comprehensive type of questionnaire. A 5-point scale will be employed to interpret the responses of the respondents. And also, the scores are scaled using a certain range to determine the impact of the environmental crimes and its threat to peace and public safety as to its degree of seriousness. Data gathering procedure. In data gathering, the following procedure must be observed. First is to ask permission to conduct the study. The researcher asked permission through a formal letter duly noted by the Dean of the College of Criminal Justice Education to the Davao City Police Office. Also, it will be forwarded to the Office of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. Second is the administration and retrieval of the research instruments. Upon securing the approval, the researcher will distribute the survey questionnaire to the participant in a random technique. Also, the researcher considers the time allotted to avoid disruption to the respondent's works. Third is the collation of the data. This means that the answered questionnaire will be retrieved, tallied, and tabulated by the researcher. And lastly is the data analysis. This means that the researchers gathered the result of the data for the statistical analysis with the assistance of the statistician.